So this will be a quick run through of the Cambridge IGCSE ICT paper, and it will be from the paper 2 focusing on the document production section of the paper. And this is the May-June 2021 paper. So first step, you've been supplied with the following source files, and you will see them in your folder. And task 1 is the evidence document. So you first need to open the file J2121 evidence and make sure that your name, centre number and candidate number will appear on every page of this document. So have this open here, and what you can do is just double click in the header and you can put your name, candidate number and centre number just somewhere in the header, and when you print it, that will then appear on every single page of this document. And this is where you can put any screenshots. The quickest way to take a screenshot is to use the snipping tool. If you hold down the Windows key, Shift and S, you can take a snip of a page, or if you type in the start menu snipping tool, you can find it there. Okay, so next thing is we need to save that as the same file name with your candidate number at the end. So File, Save As, and if you save it in the same folder, but with your candidate number, I'm just going to put 9999 like in the example. Excellent. So that's step 1 finished. Okay. So you'll need that evidence document to put your screenshots so you can get your marks for some of the questions. Okay. Task 2 is the document section. Okay. We're going to edit a document to help organize a triathlon. So a corporate house style must be used, and 3 paragraph styles have already been created. An additional paragraph style must be created and then applied to the document as instructed in the questions. So the first one, we need to open this file, J2121 triathlon, and it's a rich text file. And already the page is set up in A4. It's portrait orientation with 2.5 centimeters margins. So it says, do not make any changes to these settings. They're already been done for you. The TN body style has been created and it's stored and applied in the body text in the document already. Do not make any changes to this. So important things there in the question. And then first thing, save the document in your work area in the format of the software you're using with the file name evpack. Okay. So let's open that up. It's the J2121 triathlon. And already you don't have to change this, but in layout, it's already got the margins set up. It already has the correct orientation and the page size was already set up. Some of the assessments, you might have to actually change these at the beginning, but already we don't have to. And then the first thing you need to do is save it into your folder, and we're going to call it evpack and save. Okay, then going back to the questions. For the 1 mark is you need some evidence 1, a document of the screenshot to show that the file has been saved. Okay, and make sure there's evidence of the file type. Okay, so that's probably the most important bit there. So what you can do for that is open your folder and let's do from date modified, and you can see the file there. I'll click on it so it's selected. If you right click at the top, you can see all of the information you can show, and just make sure on yours you've got type showing, because that's what it wants to have on the question. And I'm just going to use the snipping tool, so Windows key Shift and S, and I'll get just the files, and then we can paste it into your evidence like so. And if you can, make it a little bit bigger so it's easy to read and you can see that easily. So we can see there the type of file, and we've saved the document. Okay, so next question. Remove any page breaks from the document. So open the document again, and if you scroll through, you can see there's large bits of no text. If you just click on the next paragraph and backspace, and let's press enter to get to the new one. And there's another one there, so if you just delete that and separate the paragraph, perfect. So there's only 2 page breaks in there. Okay. Next question, number 3. The top of the page, you need your name, center number, and candidate number right aligned. And also in the footer, the automated page numbers center aligned. So again, making sure your name is on everything. If you double click in the header, you can click on home. We can go to right align in the paragraph tools. And you can then put your name, candidate number, and center number. And at the bottom, if you click in the footer, double click, and we're going to go up to the header and footer tools, and you can choose the different parts you can include. So we're looking for page number, and it's at the bottom of the page, and it will be in the middle. And that's an automatic page number. And then you can just check, make sure that that's gone onto every single page, and yes, it has. And you've got the page numbers at the bottom. Okay. And just make sure it matches the page margin. So that means it's at the side of the page, it goes down, and it does. There's nothing extra included in the header and footer, and it's displayed on all pages. Perfect. So question 4. At the start of the document, enter the title, Triathlon Event Pack. Okay, so we can press enter, and at the top, Triathlon Event Pack. Okay, I've just made a spelling mistake. There we go. And make sure it's exactly the same as the one in this question to make sure you get the marks. Okay, and you don't need to change what the title looks like yet until you read the next question. It says, create and store the following style, basing it on the default paragraph style. Okay, so this question has just one style that you need to create. And you need to make sure it's exactly the same as in this little table. So in your Word document, you will find your styles in Home, and the styles are here. So we can highlight the title, click on Home, and I'm going to make a new style. So little drop down, create a style, and it needs to be called exactly the same thing. So it's TN/title, making sure, again, capital letters are the same. So I need a little one. There we go. And then click on modify to change what it looks like. Okay. And then reading that table, we need to make it exactly the same. Let's see if we can just snap these to the side. Okay. And let's just try that again. I'll just make that a bit bigger so we can see it. Okay. So the triathlon event pack, we want that to be the new style, which we're going to call TN/title, and then click on modify. Okay, and that needs to be exactly the same to the table in the questions. So the first thing, it needs to be, here's the question, the font style is serif. So that means it's a font with style, with maybe the little flicks on the edge of things. So if it says a serif font, the one you should use, unless it tells you something different, will be Times New Roman. And then let's see, the size is 34. And 34 is not on the drop down here, so we can just type it in and press enter. And it's a handy tip just to maybe tick off or underline each one after you do it so you don't miss anything out. The alignment is center. So that is here, center. And it needs to be bold and italic. And line spacing is single, space before, space after is 0. So these three you will find in a different place. So you need to click at the bottom on Format, and this is where you might find other enhancements to the text. We will find this one in Paragraph, and the spacing needs to be 0 before and after. That's how much space is after the line, and the line spacing is already single. Okay, and we'll just do a quick check. It says apply the TN title style to the title text entered in step 4. So that one here. And before we come out of that, we can take the screenshot. So evidence 2 is a screenshot to show that the style settings have been defined. And it says make sure the style is based on the default paragraph style. So the default paragraph style we can put it as normal, because I guess that was the first one. That was the default at the beginning in the styles. Okay, and just double check, yep, perfect. So we'll take a screenshot while we're in this screen, because that is the evidence. And if you look here, this is some of the key things that show what you put in for this font style. And then press OK, and you'll see that that appears at the top. So let's put that into the evidence. First, evidence 2. Perfect. And I'm just going to make this on the next line so we can easily see the evidence. Okay, next question, number 6. So select the subheading General and the text up to and including the paragraph ending competitors in each category. And it says change the page layout so it's displayed in 2 columns of equal width and a 1.5 centimeter space in between them. Okay. So competitors in each category might be difficult to find. So if you open your Word document, you can see General is there, but it's a really handy tip. Instead of searching through all of the text for the text there, competitors in each category, that might take you a bit of time. So the quickest way to do it is if you press Control F, so Control F for find, you have the navigation, and then you can type in what you're looking for. So competitors in each category, and you can see that's the space you need. That's just a quick way to find the text. So highlight all of it, make sure you highlight it, and this is the section that will be put into columns. So to find columns, you go to Layout, you click on Columns. If you need to add anything extra to the columns, make sure you go down to More Columns at the bottom, not just 2, because on More Columns, we can select 2, and we can also make sure the spacing in between, which is here, is what is needed in the question. So 1.5, and it's the equal column width. Okay, there we go, and it puts this column in the middle. Sometimes if you didn't select the right information, the bit above or below might go into columns as well. Just to change that if you needed to, you can go again to Layout, and then you would just change it back to 1 column. Because that's a common problem I might have seen a few times if people don't select the correct text. Okay. Question 7, apply bullets to the text from swim to 1 hour 20 minutes. Okay, so bullet points you can highlight here. So these 3 sections, we can click on home. And it doesn't say what type of bullet points to use, but I would generally use just the first one, so the standard bullet points. And then we also need to make sure the bullets are indented 1.5 centimeters from the left, and a single line spacing with no space before or after each line. But then there's a 6-point space after the last item. So 3 things we need to do there. So first one, we can right click on the bullets and you can see adjust list indents. And that will change how far the bullet points are away from the side. And it wanted it to be 1.5. Let's just double check. Yep, from the left, and press OK. And you can see that will move across. The second one, we can highlight the 3 bullet points. We can go to layout, and you can see you've got spacing. We have before and after, and let's just make it 0. And obviously that changes the last one, which still needs to be 6. So if we click on the last part of that, and you can go to layout, and you can do before. Oh, see, that's in the line above. So we need to do after, and it does it that way. Another way to also do it is you could click on the next paragraph, and you could put in the space before. But I think we'll just keep it on this one. So layout, and we'll do it after. Because when you actually print the document, the person marking it won't see how you did that. But that's answered all 3. So that's bullet points. So number 8, the style name TN subhead has already been created, stored, and applied to the 6 subheadings. It says modify that style, so only the following format is applied. So you need to change the current style to equal these ones. And then there's some evidence as well. So before you close it down, you can take the screenshot as your evidence. So the next one is TN subhead. So you can see the subheadings are here. And if you click on each one, we can see already it's applied to the subheadings. So if we change this style, all of them will change for us. Okay, so the first setting is the font style needs to be serif. So if it's serif and it doesn't tell you what it needs to be, we can choose Times New Roman. And the font size is 18 point. Okay, and it needs to be center aligned. Okay, so center aligned. It also has to be italics and all capitals. So that's an interesting one. Italics is obviously easy. So you can take bold off, take underline off, put italics on. But to find caps, all caps, if you go to format, you'll find that in font. So sometimes there might be an enhancement that might be a bit different. You might have to look through some of these sections, but lots of them will be in font. And you can see you've got your font style and size, but in the effects, there's some extra ones, things like strike through, double strike through, shadows to emboss something. So there might occasionally be like a different question. And we're looking for all caps, for all capital letters. And it will look like this. Okay. And let's just double check the question. Single, space before is 0, and the space after is 9. So again, like the question earlier, we can go to format and paragraph. The line spacing is already single. Before needed to be 0, and after was 9. That doesn't quite go in, so you can just type in 9. Make sure you press enter. Let's just double check that went through. 9 points. Okay, and you can see down here is the information about your font style. So while we're here, we'll take a screenshot, very quickly copy it, and then we can put it into your evidence. Oh, to put it in, you just need to make sure that you press OK here, and they all change. And then we can go to your evidence. For some reason, it won't let you open it with this box open. And there we go. So that's your evidence. Make sure it's easy to read. Okay, so we've done this one, evidence 3. Number 9, format the paragraph so it starts. This is an important part, so that it's indented 1 centimeter from both the left and right margins, and it has an external 3 to 4 point black border. Okay, so to do this, we need to find, this is an important part. Again, you could read through, but to save time, you can do Control F, type in, this is an important, there we go, and it's that paragraph. So you need to select the paragraph and you can find the indentation in layout, and you can indent it from the left, and it was 1, let's just double check that, 1 centimeter from the left, and same thing from the right. So the indent is here next to spacing, and that just moves the paragraph in a little bit. And then the next thing is you need a border around this, I guess, to help it stand out, because it was some important information. So we can find that in home, and the borders are here, so in the paragraph tools. And usually you normally put borders around a table. So when you put it around text, you'll see you can use all borders or outside borders, both should work. And click on it, and it puts that border around the text. Okay, and the second thing is it needs to be a 3 to 4 point black border. At the minute, that's just probably a 1 point border, but in home, you can click on here, borders and shading, and we can click on box, and it needs to be 3 to 4. See, 3 is there, we can click on that and apply to the paragraph. Okay, you can see that makes it stand out a little bit more. Okay, next thing, locate the table in the document. And it says delete the entire column and contents with the heading distance. So we need to delete the entire column of distance. So first thing, we need to find that table. So again, it's a bit tricky because the table is here. Normally you might see a table with borders around it, but this one doesn't. But you can click in each cell. It wants you to delete distance. So you can right click, you can go down to delete cells, and you can delete that entire column. Okay. And it says format the table so the left column looks like this. So the swim wave details is sort of going a different direction, and it's got a black background. So first thing, you'll see that you need to merge these cells together. So I'm just going to put on a border in table tools, and let's put a border on, all borders. Just so you can see, when you highlight these cells, we can merge them. So merge is in layout and merge cells, and that'll join the cells together. Then you can also find text direction, which is here, and it needs to be facing that way. And the text is in the middle, so you can align it to the center of that box. And lastly, if you press enter, it puts it onto 2 lines like in the image. And finally, we can add in design the shading, and we can make it black, and automatically the text goes to white. Okay, let's check the next question. It says make sure the TN table style is applied, but only to columns 2, 3, and 4. So this is column 1, but 2, 3, and 4 is here. So we can go to home, and you can see the style TN table. We can apply that into there. Okay, next. 2, 3, and 4 displays on 1 line. Okay, so 2, 3, and 4 columns. You can see swim wave and hat color are on different lines. We can make this a bit wider. Okay, let's try that again. Let's just undo. But if you make swim wave a bit wider until, oops, let's just undo that. We want the whole column to move across. Okay, and we can make time a little bit smaller. And what I want is this to go into 1 line, and then you can do the same to hat color. There we go. And next thing, table borders all fit within the column width. So you can see the column width is here, so we can actually make it a bit wider. There we go, on both sides. Okay. And we need a 1 point black internal and external grid lines when printed. Okay. And there's a 6 point space after the table. We'll do that as well. So first thing, you can see when they've obviously made this Word document, they've purposely put this with a 3 quite a thick border. So you'll have to go to design and look for border styles, and the 3 point is there, and you need to change it to 1 point. Okay, and let's just try that again. It hasn't quite worked. Borders, and let's try how we did it the other way. So go down to borders and shading, change the width to 1 point. Okay, there we go, that's better, and that just makes it the line a bit smaller. And then afterwards you can click on hide type, click on layout, and before needs to be 6 points, so it puts a little bit of a gap between the table and the text. Okay, so 13, this is the image one. So it needs to be J2121 swim. It's a PNG file. Place it in the paragraph beginning. Please follow the race directives. And we need to flip the image, so reflect it, so the hand is on the left. So let's do that first. So a good skill to have is if you snap your folder to one side of the page, and I can snap this to the other, and it says there, please follow the race directives instructions. So we can put it into this paragraph. We can see your picture. I can't see it. There it is, J2121 swim, and just drag it and drop it just in before the please. And you'll see it fills the page. And then let's look at the next instruction. Oh, it was to flip the image so the hand is on the left. So just click on the image, go up to your new picture tools format, and if you look for rotate, and you can flip horizontal, and now the hand is the other way. And then we need to resize to a width of 2.5 centimeters, aspect ratio maintained. So to do that, click on the picture format, and to check that aspect ratio is on, if you click on size, and there's more options here, and its aspect ratio is locked. So that means when you change the size, the height and width will remain the same aspect ratio. And we can change the width to 2.5. Okay. And next one, it's aligned to the right of the column, top of the paragraph, and also the text wraps around the image. We can do these two in the same thing. So to do that, you click on format and look for wrap text and put it, let's do through. Once it does that, it should move through this text when you place it. And if you put it right to the column edge, you can see it snaps to that grid, and there we go. So it's right aligned and it's in that paragraph. There we go. And next question, number 14. Last one, spell check and proofread the document. So this is where you can just make sure that there's nothing that looks strange, nothing like maybe you forgot or something you accidentally changed. The list table, indented paragraph are not split over columns or pages. So that's the three main sections that you changed today. So the photo, the table, and this cell here. They're not split over the different pages. Good. Or columns as well. Widows or orphans. So this is a difficult one to look for, but it's where you see any maybe paragraphs or headings which are just on their own and the information of next paragraph is not with them. So you can see this one follows on from here, but there's still a few lines in between. This one again, there's a few lines, and then this one a few lines. So I think there's not really anything we would change there. And there's no blank pages. Obviously when you print it out, you'll see if there's any blank pages, but at the end of my documents there's not. If you want to delete one, just make sure, click on the next page and you can backspace until you get back. If for some reason you couldn't delete that extra page, which I think sometimes happens, when you print it off, obviously don't include it into your final exam. Styles are applied consistently and spacing is consistent. So look through your items I can see here this last paragraph looks like it's really close to this one before. So this line actually goes from there up to this column. So maybe you could include if you go to layout, and you can do before 6 points. That's not really worked. So maybe just press enter, just as the little gap, so it's easier to read between. And then just check, make sure, obviously it's consistent throughout. Just check as well, it said in the first question that most of the paragraphs should be TN body. The subheadings should be TN subheading, and the subheading should be the title. And it didn't tell us to change the actual style of the main body. Okay, and it says save the document using the same file name. So you can just press File, Save. And lastly, print the document. So finally, make sure that your name, center number, candidate number is on, which is in the first question. And when you print it, you can also see the print preview. So File, Print. And you can see what it looks like from the different sections. So again, just make sure that it's exactly what you want, and then you can print. Okay. So thank you for watching. It was just a quick run through of these sections, and hopefully that was helpful for your exams.